Welcome back to the Level Up and Live podcast, the show for leaders and business owners committed to growing without losing what matters most. Today's guest is the one and only Dusty Clancy, husband, father, sales consultant at Revolution Power Sports here in Conroe, Texas, a man returning to faith, rebuilding his health, and stepping into community inside the Level Up and Live mastermind. Dusty, welcome to the show, brother.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's start here. Who are you before this season of growth, this transformational journey, and who are you becoming today?
Man, before I was just a regular Joe, dude, just living life, wasn't living right, paycheck to paycheck type of thing, not in faith, just kind of taking the blows as they were coming to me and couldn't really do anything. We didn't get to go on vacations or anything because we would just get the money in and it's like, okay, let's not have money anymore.
Yeah.
And then got started with Brent Lovall. He started helping me out in sales, and that was immaculate. Month in, and I just took what he gave me, what Micah gave me, what Ariel gave me, and just put it all together, and boom, I get a 21 unit month, and we're slinging units and having a good time, having fun. Still professional, but now it's at the point where it's like I wake up in the morning without an alarm clock anymore, and come to work and have fun. And the 21 unit month, it was pretty cool. Had a lot of support from everybody, but I think the biggest thing was like coming out of that 21 unit month. I told Brent this morning, because every Tuesday we have our meeting, and I was like, man, I'm taking a different approach at it this month. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm gonna have fun with it. And he's like, what do you mean have fun? Like, you had fun the month, and then now you're just what does that entail? And I was like, well, let me explain it. It was really professional. I was really serious, down to the, hey, you want this unit, you want this, let's get it done, wrap it up. Now I'm like, I had a lady call yesterday, Miss Cat, and she was like, yeah, and I couldn't really understand her, so I had her spell her name, and she's like, it's C-A-T, it's Catherine, but I go by Cat. And I was like, man, I thought, you were more of a K-A-T kind of cat person, you seem more rambunctious and fun. And she started laughing. And so now she's buying 2 units.
What?
Yeah. So it's like,
wow.
I'm taking the seriousness to the professional level, but I'm also going to add a little bit of fun in this month and see where it can go. You have those customers that like to joke around. And I think yes, I did get a lot of sales, but I think also I was a little too serious. I think I could have gotten more sales. I think I could have closed out 30 units instead of 21.
Really?
If I would have been a little less salesman and a little bit more, hey, I'm that guy, come have fun with me.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to try to do this month and see where it leads me.
Man, that leads me into my next question, because I can hear so much conviction behind that. It's like, you strike me as a fun dude. And and the story that you shared with me when we had breakfast a couple weeks ago, you had shared some of your fun experiences that you had, growing up. And I'm curious, and I know our listeners and audience are as well, what experiences shaped you early on before coming to Revolution Power Sports, and how have they influenced you to the man you are today?
Man, so I was really, I told you that, I was supposed to be a firefighter and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of got blown out the water with my knee injury. But, growing up in the fire department, you just raised different. It's, I can remember they have a holding tank that you put out, and it looks like this giant swimming pool, and they use it for holding water in case there's not a fire hydrant close by, so that the tanker has time to go to the fire hydrant, grab more water, and then supply the firefighters with water whenever they're fighting a house fire and whatnot. I remember going to house fires when I was younger, and the fire chief would just pick up all the kids, because back when I was a kid, my mom would wake us up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, "Hey, we're going to a house fire. Get your pajamas on, whatever, have fun."
Yeah.
Uh, so we would go. It was great. I've seen more house fires than probably most kids have in their entire lifetime. Most people have. Uh, I also had the satisfaction of, and I say satisfaction, and I don't mean that by the satisfaction of someone's house burning down. That's terrible.
Yeah.
The adrenaline rush is what I'm going for. The
Yeah.
adrenaline rush of walking into a burning building, and you just have clothes that protect you. It's it's such an adrenaline rush, and I mean, but back to what I was saying. I remember as a kid, the fire chief would just walk by us and throw us in this giant, holding tank. And, it's when you grow up that way, it's like everything's supposed to be fun. Everything's supposed to be happy go lucky, both parents, all that kind of stuff. My mom broke her back, and that made me grow up a little bit. My dad left. Uh,
Hmm.
so had to kind of take over the husband role for my mom because she couldn't walk. So, there was things that I had to do that I shouldn't have been doing at 10 years old. It was just taking care of my mom, helping her around the house, helping her get to the car. I remember waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting my sister's stuff ready for school, getting her lunch packed, packing my lunch, uh, getting my mom's heating pad on her back so she was able to drive us to school. Um, and then she could go to work herself. And I mean, growing up at 10 years old is very big. It makes you rethink how things go. So kind of lost my 10 to my I kind of lost the fun in 10 to 18 years old,
Yeah.
just because I was helping my mom out so much. But
Mm.
it it made me look at life differently. So once I got out of the house per se, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go have fun. Job hopped,
Mm.
didn't have job security, drilling water wells because I couldn't be a firefighter because of my knee injury.
Mm.
Uh, Turning wrenches. I mean, and then one day I get a call from my buddy Nate, and he's like, "Hey, man, we got a job opening." I just started another job.
Mm.
I just started working at a accessory store, just doing lift kits and stuff. And I was like, um, "Hey, what can what do you mean you have a job opening?" He's like, "We need a tech that does lifts, wheels and tires, rock lights, stuff like that. Just pretty much making the side by sides just what everybody wants, what their side by side dream."
Yeah. So they can go out and have fun.
Yeah. So I come to this interview with Micah, and that's interesting. That's an interesting topic. I don't know if we have time for that. I want to allow time for that if we can, but it's part of the question. So come to work for Micah, and I go to this interview. He's like, "Yeah, I'm 22 years old. Business owner. We kind of talked about personal stuff. I brought my wife and kids to the interview because we were out going to do things,
Oh.
and." He calls me. He's like, "Hey, can you do an interview in 30 minutes?" I'm like, "I got my wife and kids with me, man." Like, "Yeah, sure. Come on, let's go." So drive up to the shop, do the interview. We talked for probably 30, 45 minutes. And he's like, "When can you start?" And I was like, "Micah, I just started a job a month and a half ago. Let me give my 2 weeks." And he's like, "I can respect that." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Sweet." So I got it. My plan is next day, go to work. "Hey, thank you for this, opportunity working here, but I've got to better my family and everything and go here." So I go there the next day to work, and I tell my boss, like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. Man, you're going to have to wait. I got some personal things going on. I got to handle those with the company, and then we can talk." That turns into 3 days later, still not having this talk.
Mm.
I'm supposed to leave for Page, Texas to go help my buddy get ready for his wedding on the next day.
Mm.
And I'm like, all right, well, I really need to talk to you before I leave tomorrow. It's like, okay, we'll talk first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, I come in and I'm like, I text Micah and I'm like, hey, I haven't been able to put my 2 weeks in. My boss has been busy. He's like, I completely understand. Take your time. Your job's here when it's ready. When you're ready. Sweet. Go in the next morning. My boss isn't there. I have to open it. And I'm like, I text him like, hey, I need to talk to you today. Doesn't respond. Try to call him. Doesn't respond. I'm sitting inside, setting up the computers and everything, setting up the work orders for that day, seeing what we have to do. And my coworker calls him and he answers instantly. And I looked over and I was like, tell him I need to talk to him. Like, I need him to come in today, give me 10 minutes of his time, and I'll talk to him. He says, well, his time isn't that important. I have other things to worry about. Like, all right. So I kind of gained my composure because customers walked in and talked to them, get them settled on what they needed. And I got to thinking about it. I called my wife. I'm like, babe, what do I do? Like, this job over here is the job that I've, there's just the vibe at Micah's shop is just what I want, what I've been looking for. I've never had really good leadership when it comes to bosses. It's always been a back and forth, argumentative type of deal. I don't want a boss that I argue with. I want a boss that whenever something goes wrong, we talk about it and we settle it, we squash it, and then we go back to having fun.
That's right. Yep.
And that's the vibe I got from Micah. And so I'm like, what do I do? It's just like, babe, just do what your heart says. Okay. So I get off the phone with her. And I text my boss again. I'm like, hey, can we please talk? Opens the message, doesn't respond. So I walk out to the shop. I grab my bag of tools and I put them in my truck. I walk to the clock out screen and I clock out, get in my truck, and I drive to Page, Texas. I'm in Page, Texas for a week. Tell Micah, hey, I'll start on the 18th of December. He's like, sounds good. See you on the 18th. So fast forward to the 18th, and Mike is going to find out this story whenever he watches this podcast. So he doesn't know that I actually didn't get to put my 2 weeks in. He just thought I did. Help my buddy get his stuff ready for his wedding. And we go, I come start on the 18th, and I told Mike in the interview, I said, hey, look, I've been turning wrenches for a while. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be, a salesman. I've always wanted to be in sales. Yeah. He doesn't say no. He just says, let's see where you can go. Perfect. Let's see where I can go. Start as a tech. I'm a tech for 3 months or a month, and then our lead tech leaves. So then I'm the only tech in the shop with 2 other guys.
Oh, wow.
And I know the most. So like I'm lead tech at this point. And then we get a new service manager, and he's like, hey, I really don't like being service manager. This is 3 months later. And he's like, I want to go into sales. So Micah pushes him up into sales because he was looking for a salesman. And I was like, man, dude, Micah, come on, man, let me go into sales. And he's like, I think you'd be better at the service manager position.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go into service manager position. Total fail. Right? Right person, wrong position type of thing. And I told Micah, I was like, look, I told Micah, I said, fire me. I'm not doing the job right, fire me. Yeah. I'll go find another place. He's like, no, that's not how this is going to go. We're going to find the right place. Ariel was like, I want him in sales. I think, he has potential. Let me have him, give him 30 days. If he doesn't excel, we'll do something, we'll figure that out. Coming to sales, and it just took off from there. So I've had my bad months. I've had my bad months. I've only sold 6 or 7 a month, but and that was partially my fault because I got out. I got into my head about things, but with the right leadership, I got back into it. And
Man, what a
so
beautiful story, man. That it just really goes to show, man. There's a lot to unpack there. And one of the things that I had pulled away is your resilience. You're leaning in, and that was the first thing when you were sharing your story about leadership. It's like, man, you've been through the ups and the downs of leadership, and
100%.
you've really learned along the way. It's like, well, who you've wanted to become as a man, as a leader, as a father, as a husband, as a sales professional. It's like,
Right.
I like that, but I don't like that. And it's molded who you are today. And I think what I have learned is the more value that you provide your marketplace, your customers, your team, and leaning in with your leadership, because you may not see eye to eye on everything, and that's okay. But as long as you approach it with kindness, humility, and love, and bring your perspective to the table, to me, that's what makes a good unit. That's what makes a good team, to really have an enduring month, an enduring year, and ultimately, hit your mission, hit your goal on what you're trying to do at Revolution Power Sports. Now, you've been there for 2 years, correct, in sales?
In 9 days, I'll be there. Well, so in 9 days, I'll be at the company for 2 years. I've
Okay.
been in sales for a year, and actually, I came into sales on November 18th. So,
Okay.
been in here a year and 9 days.
Okay.
So,
So what would you say for because everybody listening to this, we're all in sales in one shape, some shape or form. We are in sales, marketing, advertising. We're
100%.
selling ourselves as brands. What
Right.
what would you say the biggest lesson for you in the sales world has taught you?
The biggest lesson that I've learned in sales is probably confidence.
Mm.
Confidence is 100% key. Uh,
And how do
if
you
you're
gain
not
confidence? How would one gain confidence? Like, can you just have it, snap of a finger, or how did you
no
gain confidence?
So I gained confidence, and so when I first started, as a service manager, I was still living paycheck to paycheck, and I told Micah that I was like, "Man, look, I got to do something different.
Yeah.
I got to earn more money." He's like, "Dude, you're making good money. What do you mean you need to earn more money?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm at the bottom of the river, just getting tumbled, bouncing off rocks, bouncing
Mm.
off logs. Like I'm running into alligators, getting my foot chomped on a little bit, like." I was like, I can't get out of this. I can't. I'm surfacing for just a little bit to take a breath, and I'm going back down. Like I
You're
can't
talking
get
about
up.
you're talking about me right now, brother. That's me
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. I'm trying to get up on this float and just sit, and
Uh,
enjoy the float. I'm trying to
yeah.
float the river, not underbody the river.
Amen.
And he said, "Well, let's start with faith, and let's start with your finance."
Wow.
I said, "I'll do
Powerful.
what?" I said, "Do what?" And he was like, "Let's start with faith and finance." And I was like, "Okay, let's switch it. Let's start with finance and then faith."
Mm.
And he was like, "No, man, let's start with faith." And he really pushed the faith. He really did. And I never really just got into it. And I had a bad thing with my church that I went to, and
Mm.
uh, it kind of pushed me away. And I was like, I'm not, Mike, I respect your opinion on the faith part, but right now I'm not looking for faith. I'm just looking for,
Yeah.
freedom basically, and finance. He's like,
Yeah.
okay. So he puts me into Dave Ramsey. I find out I'm like $100,000 in debt,
Mm.
just a couple thousand short of $100,000.
Mm.
It's like, dude, the way that you tackle this is you do the pyramid scheme. And this is
Mm.
what Dave is teaching me. He's like, you start with the smallest debt and you just snowball effect it all the way up.
Mm.
And I was like, I like a challenge. I like to be challenged. And I told Mike, I was like, I'm not starting with the little debt. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm not starting with the little debt. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to start with the biggest debt I have. And I'm going to knock that out. And I'm going to take the money I was spending on that and knock the next biggest one out. And I'm going to snowball backwards, because that's not what he taught you. And I was like, it's going to work. Uh, Projected to get out of debt doing it the way, starting with your smallest one,
Mm.
um, with how much I was in debt, was about 3 years. Because the little ones were like $100 here, 500 here, 1,000 here, 1,300 here, 1,500 here, just little things.
Yeah.
So you pay off these little debts, and then you get to the big ones. and then you're just paying them off $500 at a time. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Mm.
I don't want that 3 years. I want a challenge.
Mm.
So Micah was like, you do what you think is going to help you. I'll support you.
Mm.
So I jumped into it head first, um, hit the water, started swimming. Uh, so I'm already in the water. So
Yeah.
I just kind of jumped out for a second, caught a big old breath, and I jumped right back in,
Mm.
go down to the bottom of the river. And now I'm dodging obstacles. I'm
Yeah.
paying big debt off. Like I paid, my biggest thing was, it was a $8,000 credit card that I had that I let to go to
Wow.
collections.
Wow.
And uh, I took most of my checks and just paid like $1,000, $1,500, and I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
Literally, when Dave Ramsey says beans and rice, rice and beans, that's literally what I was living on, pretty much.
Mm.
Thankfully, my mother was like, "Hey, I'll buy groceries. I see what you're doing. Take care of that.
Mm.
Don't pay me rent right now. Just do what you got to do." Okay,
Mm.
got it. Paid off everything except for the trucks that I was telling you about, the
Mm.
couple trucks that,
Yeah.
it's getting resolved now, but I paid everything off and right at about a year and a half.
Mm.
So
Mm.
cut the 3-year projected date in completely half. Uh, so
What?
then
And what I'm,
that,
man, what I just want to stop you for a second, but the whole entire time that you're sharing this story, it's perfectly in line with the question I asked you about how confidence. How do you
yeah,
build confidence? And that's what you're doing. Look at, you had your best month ever at Revolution Power Sports in October of 2025, 21 units. Now you're paying off debt. You're challenging yourself. You're overcoming these obstacles, and you're creating. What I'm hearing you say is, it's not, confidence isn't just built overnight,
no,
or or a week or a month. You are stacking that over time.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Um,
hearing you say on building that confidence.
it,
Is that
it's
right?
like, yeah, it's like losing weight. You don't go to the gym, at, 400 pounds and go, I'm going to be skinny tomorrow,
Yeah.
and work out one time and get on the scale and you're like, oh, I'm skinny. No, that's not how it works. It's
Right.
over time. You
Yep.
have a 6 month to a year to a 2-year process
Yep.
to lose that weight if you stay clicked in. And if you don't, you're going to have the ups where you get back into debt a little bit. I've done it. I had to take a couple loans out to get my wife a new car. I got back into debt, but I used the tools that I have now, and the confidence key, that's where my confidence came from. It's like I had to take out these 2 loans to get her a new car because her car was failing. And I was like, I'm putting myself in more debt. So there's my downfall. My uphill climb that put me right back on top was, I was further into debt a year ago. I know how to pay this off.
Yeah.
I take 2 checks and I just pay it back.
Yeah.
I don't go out to eat. I don't, go have fun for the weekend. I don't take my wife out on date night. If we want to do date night, let's get a blanket, let's get a picnic basket, let's go sit in the pasture and or in the bed of the truck and just have a cheap date night on the house.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend money to take your wife out, So it's sacrifice a little here, sacrifice a little there, but in the end it builds to things. And then I think the biggest thing of confidence was, my first level up and live meeting, my first mastermind meeting. It was 7 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The first thing that I heard was this method is, 3, 2, 1, put your phone down, give your spouse your undivided attention.
Mm.
And I was like, there's no way that works. Like, there's no way that's gonna, help our situation, our relationship. And so I didn't do it for a couple of days. And then, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I got off work, got to the house, kids, daddy's home, they're all excited. I'm like, I have both phones in my hand and I'm just kind of going at it. And I'm like, I should be more excited that my kids are excited that I'm home. And so I go do my nightly routine, take off, my watches, my hat, put my keys in my hat so I don't forget anything. I forget. If I don't put it in my hat, I'm going to forget it. My hat goes upside down, AirPods, watch,
Wow,
keys,
that's
wallet.
awesome. That's
And
smart.
then in the morning, it's right there. I'm like, okay, I have everything. I don't have that feeling of forgetfulness. But what I was getting at is I try this 3-2-1 method.
Hmm.
I'm like 3-2-1, phone's down, and I'm sitting there. My son, my daughter, they come jump on me. We're chilling. We're just spending time together. We're not watching TV. We're not doing anything. They're just sitting on me. And then they're like, Dad, will you read a book with me? Absolutely. So they both go grab a book and I read them a book. Meanwhile, my wife's sitting over there on her phone. And I just get up and I said, hey, my phones are on the counter. Let's spend some time together. We talked for 2 hours.
Wow. Let's
And
go.
then the next week I told her, the next week I looked to level up and live again. And everybody's like talking about faith and they're going back to church. They're reading books. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm missing. I
Yeah.
haven't read a book since I was out of high school.
Mm.
I didn't even read in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
audio book that stuff.
Same.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not,
Same.
I'm not reading. So, Micah has bought me a couple books. I don't remember the name of them. I think one of them's like Leadership to Greatness or something like that. He
Mm.
bought it for me whenever I was a service manager, and I picked it up and I, blew the dust off it.
Yeah.
Read the cover page, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start, reading.
Mm.
And I started reading it, and I was like, this isn't the book for me.
Mm.
And went to our bookshelf, found a couple books, and the only books I really read were Harry Potter. I'm a big Harry Potter nerd, so
Did not know that.
uh, yeah. So I'm such a Harry Potter nerd. I'm getting a whole arm sleeve done of Harry Potter. Um, but that's besides the point. So uh, I know we've got limited time. Trying to speed things up here. We I'm like, this isn't the book for me. Like I don't know what it is. And on my so I have a solid rustic headboard, and on the side there's these two big podiums, and I have my dog's ashes there with his paw print, and then behind that I have my uh the first bear I ever got my wife, and a picture of us, and that is holding up a Bible.
Mm.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what do I read?
Mm.
And my dog that's up there, if I get a little bit choked up, that was my first child.
Okay.
I kind of just
Mm.
put my hand on the box, his ashes, and I'm rubbing his paw, and I'm like, I need to figure out what I'm missing. Like, I got the confidence in work, I've got the confidence, here, and nothing like weird happened,
Mm.
but like I'm rubbing his paw print and my hand just touches the Bible and I get
Mm.
chill bumps. And
Wow.
I'm like, that's it. That's what I need to read. So my wife is sitting over here back here doing cups and shirts and trying to figure out this DTF printer that she has and whole 9 yards. And I
Mm.
just grab the Bible and I lay down and start reading it.
Mm.
And as I'm reading it, I'm just getting goosebumps and chill bumps. And I'm like, this is the book that I need to be reading.
Mm.
It's faith. I need to get back into faith.
Mm.
So I read the scripture every night now. And I'm about to start doing it in the morning.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
I, the next week, go to Level Up and Live. And I'm like, hey guys, this is what I need. And oddly enough, um, Lawrence and uh, Michael Faust
Mm.
are talking about how they sat their wives down and
Mm.
said, hey, we're getting back into church.
Mm.
You're coming with me. They didn't ask,
Yeah.
they told.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to do that. Like, my family does not go to church. I'm the leader of the household. I
Mm.
have to make that happen.
That's right.
So this is like the week before Thanksgiving.
Mm.
And I walk into the house and I'm like, there's a family meeting now. Like, everybody put your stuff down,
Mm,
sit down on the couch. We're having a family meeting.
mm,
And they sit down and I'm like, hey, starting next Sunday, we're going to church. No matter what, no matter if we sit down on the couch and we watch it live on TV because we don't feel good, we are going to devote our Sunday
mm.
for that hour and a half to church. And that's all we're doing until we are done with church.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, no, no, no. And I'm like, yes, no, there's no argument. Like, everybody's phones are going on on the counter. We're watching church or we're going to church.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing since the week of Thanksgiving,
Mm.
or that weekend before Thanksgiving. We've been watching church on TV or we've been going in person.
Well, that's so
So
beautiful, Dusty. Man, I really appreciate you sharing your story. And there's so much when I hear you speak. There's so much that you're going through right now, and I know a lot of our listeners and viewers are going through the same thing. And I love how I just want to share with you. Like, I love how I appreciate about you. You inspire me on how honest you are. I don't know if it's because it's a safe place or you feel comfortable. And I just love that about you because it inspires me to be vulnerable, right? And it's
right,
that iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're all about. And you're
100%.
embodying that as well. It's like, oh, I don't have it all figured out. It's like, you know what? I'm going to lean in, and I'm wanting to improve myself as a leader as well. And isn't it interesting how that all like that transitions and that aligns with all the other areas of life in your sales, how you communicate with people, how you show up, and in these different areas of life. So I just want
Yeah,
to show my appreciation to your honesty and your growth. And your story that you shared today reminds everybody that we can rebuild our life with faith, discipline, in the right community. And you're doing that.
right.
So I appreciate you, man.
100%. And I want to add to that. So, like, like I said, I've been in mastermind for going on 6, 7 weeks now. I don't remember how long it's been. Um, my first week was with you, and then I was supposed to be with you the rest, but then our group never showed up. So it's just you've been table hopping, which is
Yep.
great. We love that you table hop. We're kind of salty because you haven't been to Micah's table in a couple of weeks, but hey, it's okay. Um, last week, we sat down at the tables, and I sat down, and Micah sits here, and then we got Michael Faust, and then oh man, I forget his name every single time.
There's Ray
I'm sorry.
Aguilar, Jeremy Lawrence, Michael Faust.
And then one more guy.
Brian Riddle.
Nope, not Brian. Not Brian. Um,
Hmm.
he has a construction company.
Yeah, it's Brian.
Uh,
Oh,
no, no, no.
Joshua Woolover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Josh.
yeah.
So we're all sitting there, and Micah looks at Michael and goes, "Hey, you're starting today." And I said, "Hold on a second." And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "No, no, no. You always start with somebody who's sitting next to you. Last week it was Brian. The week before that it was me.
Yeah.
We haven't heard your high or lows or
Mm,
what you're accountable for in like 3 weeks because we run
nice.
out of time."
Let's
And
go.
he's like, no, 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 it's fine, it's fine. Let's start with Michael. I was like, no, we're starting with you today. And he's like, I'm the table leader. And I was like, I don't care. You're starting first. So he starts first, and he just kind of looks at me like, what are you doing? Like, why are you calling me out? But so we got to hear Micah's highs, Micah's lows.
Mm,
And I think, level up and live is great. It's, I told you how I thought it was. Everybody heard how I thought it was at the beginning because Micah does not do wordature very good. He doesn't explain things right. Um, I know there's a lot of people out there that if they don't know what level up and live is, it's very different.
mm,
You don't know quite what it is until you actually see it from within.
yeah. Amen.
It's definitely the if don't judge a book by its cover type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I didn't think going to a group like that would help at
Mm,
first, and it absolutely does.
mm,
It just takes you to a whole new level. And if you're in the right head space and you're in the right mind going into it, it's just going to take you even further.
yeah.
I didn't like talking in front of people a lot. Like, I'll talk one on one to somebody. I'll sit there and talk to them all day.
Yeah.
You would never catch me doing a live video on Facebook. You wouldn't catch me doing a live video on TikTok. You wouldn't catch me on a podcast, that's for sure.
Common
But
gets.
now, yeah, but now it's like talking in front of other people at a group mass. It's like, what is there to be scared of? People are going to judge you. You just got to let it flow. Like you can't control what other people think about you.
Yeah.
And
Amen. Amen
I
to that,
think
Dusty.
that's,
Yeah.
I
No.
think that's one of the greatest things is just being able to just live now.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother. Well, hey, we're out of time. How can our community at Level Up and Live, how can we support you, brother?
Just keep doing what you're doing, showing up every Friday, having fun, shooting with us and having a great time. I think we should do like a whole group table one day, instead of breaking off into little groups. I think we should do one group, do maybe 1 week. We all sit there and talk about everything, each one of us does the whole thing instead of breaking off into little tables. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. No, I like that. Almost like getting outside of the 6 or 7 round tables, but doing more of like the collective, the collaborative.
Right. Cause we stand there in the morning and talk, but I mean, we don't know everybody's highs. We don't know everybody's lows. And I think, maybe once a month we do a whole group thing. And then because you never know, your table of 6 might not have the experience that you had that week, but somebody at this table could have, and it could help you.
Yeah.
So if you do a high and low, and
definitely worth exploring, man. Well, to all of our listeners and viewers out there, take one thing Dusty shared today and apply it in your life. Don't wait for a new year. 2026 is right around the corner to become the new you. So if this episode helped you, make sure you share it with somebody. Share it with another leader, business owner. It's how we grow. And subscribe if you're on YouTube. Until next time, stay grounded, stay hungry, and keep leveling up without losing yourself. Thanks again, Dusty.
Yes, sir.